Hello students, welcome to Notebook. Let us listen to these words written to praise the great king Samudragupta, whose body was most charming, being covered with the plenteous beauty of the marks of hundreds of scars caused by battle axes, arrows, spikes, spears, barbed darts, swords, iron clubs, javelins, barbed arrows, long arrows, and many other weapons. Such praises were known as prahastis. They were inscribed on pillars and surfaces of rocks. This prahasti of Samudragupta was inscribed on the Ashokan pillar at Allahabad. It was composed as a kavya by Harisena. Harisena was a poet and minister at Samudragupta's court. Why did poets write such prahastis? They admired the qualities of the king and were thankful to them. After all, the kings kept them in their courts, patronized them, and maintained them. Do you write such prahastis for your favorite relative, who perhaps keeps bringing gifts for you? Of course you don't, but perhaps you praise them from time to time. Harisena had reasons to praise Samudragupta. Samudragupta was a brave and efficient warrior. His court was full of learned and talented men like the poet Kalidasa and the astronomer Aryabhatta. Samudragupta ruled over a vast empire and administered or governed all parts of the empire very well. He had different kinds of policies for rulers in different places. Samudragupta took away the kingdoms of the 9 rulers of Aryavarta. He made their kingdoms part of his empire. Samudragupta defeated the 12 rulers of Dakshinapatha, but then allowed them to rule Dakshinapatha under his supervision. The rulers in the neighboring states of his kingdom, like Assam, coastal Bengal, Nepal, and some Sanghas in the northwest, brought tribute for Samudragupta. They followed his orders and attended his court. The rulers of the outlying or border areas also surrendered to Samudragupta. They married their daughters to Samudragupta. We come to know of the ancestors and the family line or genealogy of the kings through the prahastis, inscriptions, and coins. Prahastis written during Samudragupta's time tell us about his great-grandfather, grandfather, father, and mother. The prahastis written during the time of Samudragupta's son, that is Chandragupta II, mention the name and accomplishments of Samudragupta. From these prahastis of the Gupta dynasty, we find out that Samudragupta's father, Chandragupta, was the first ruler of the Gupta dynasty who acquired the grand title of Maharaja Dhiraja. Kings before him were known as Maharaja. We come to know of King Harshavardhana of the Vardhana dynasty and his lineage or genealogy from the accounts of Yuan Sang, the Chinese Buddhist pilgrim who came to India. Harshavardhana's court poet, Ban Bhatta, wrote his biography, Harshacharita. This biography, Harshacharita, tells us a lot about his lineage and his empire. Harshavardhana became the king of Thanesar and the ruler of Kannauj. He successfully captured the regions of Magadha and Bengal. However, the powerful Chalukya ruler Pulakesan II did not let Harshavardhana capture the Deccan region. Harshavardhana ruled North India between 1606 to 1647 DE, about 1400 years ago. Who ruled South India during this time? The Pallavas and the Chalukyas ruled South India. The capital of the Pallavas was Kanchipuram in the Kaveri Delta. They ruled over the region around Kanchipuram. The Chalukya rulers ruled over the region called Raichur Doab between the rivers Krishna and Tungabhadra. The capital of the Chalukyas was Aihole, which was an important trading and religious center. The Pallavas and the Chalukyas often attacked each other's kingdoms. They looted or gathered a lot of wealth by attacking the capital cities. Pulakesan II was the most famous Chalukya ruler. His court poet Ravikirti wrote a glowing prahasti describing Pulakesan II's conquests. Pulakesan II stopped the advance of North Indian king Harshavardhana into the Deccan. He also attacked the Pallava king and defeated him. The Pallavas and the Cholas were eventually defeated by the new rulers of the Rashtrakuta and the Chola dynasties. How did the ruling dynasties gather the support of their subjects and govern their kingdoms? Like before, they collected revenue or tax from the people of their kingdom, and the village was their basic unit of administration. Besides these, they adopted some new policies. These new policies helped the kings win the support of important and powerful people in their kingdoms. The rulers made some important administrative posts hereditary. Sons succeeded their fathers to these posts. The poet Harishena succeeded his father as the chief judicial officer Mahadandanayaka. The rulers gave their officials or the administrators a lot of additional power. Often, one person held many offices. Harishena held two other important ministerial positions. Apart from being Mahadandanayaka, the kings also began to take the suggestions, advice, and opinions of important people in matters of administration. The chief banker or merchant of the city, the leader of the merchant caravans, the chief craftsman, and the head of the scribes or kayasthas could voice their opinions about local administration. The kings in these regions had to maintain armies. The military leaders provided soldiers to the kings. The kings gave the army leaders land grants instead of salaries. The military chiefs could collect revenue from these lands. These military chiefs and leaders came to be known as Samantas. They enjoyed a lot of power, just like the governors or administrators who held many offices. Both the administrative officers and the Samantas overthrew the rulers when the rulers became weak. They began to rule as independent rulers. How do we know about the life of the common people during this age? We know about them from the plays written during this period and from the accounts of the travelers and pilgrims. Kalidasa's plays describe life in the king's court. His plays show us the divide between the rich and the poor, the higher and the lower castes, men and women. In his plays, the king and the Brahmins speak Sanskrit. The women and other men speak Prakrit. This tells us that only the upper caste men had the right to read and speak Sanskrit. The Chinese pilgrim Fahim gives us an account of the untouchables or the people of the lowest caste in the kingdoms of the Pallavas and the Chalukyas. The untouchables during this time lived in the outskirts of the city. They were not allowed to stay inside the city. The untouchable man had to strike and make a sound on a piece of wood when he entered the city. The people of the city heard this sound and recognized him as an untouchable. Thus, they could avoid touching him or brushing against him. The untouchables have been dominated and treated badly by upper caste people for a long time in Indian society. Try to find out more about their lives. See you soon in other videos. Till then, keep learning.